Hi from New Delhi. You're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lin. Namaskar. Coming up in News Hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveils 5,100 crore rupees projects in Arunachal Pradesh, declares Northeast as India's emerging powerhouse. Navratri, now a GST savings festival. Prime Minister Modi's tax reform spurs discounts, Swadeshi push and economic cheer. France joins the UK, Canada, Australia and Portugal in backing a Palestinian state. Israel calls it a huge reward to terror. Young citizens in Peru and Philippines protest against their respective governments. Taking a cue from Nepal, in a big development push to northeast India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid the foundation stone and inaugurated various development works worth over 5,100 crore rupees in Itanagar in Arunachal Pradesh today. Speaking at the launch of projects related to energy, connectivity and healthcare in Itanagar, the Prime Minister said that the northeast is fast emerging as India's powerhouse. Here's our top story.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched infrastructure projects worth over 5,100 crore Indian rupees in Arunachal Pradesh on Monday, highlighting the state's growing role in energy and regional development. The PM virtually laid the foundation stones for two major hydropower projects in the Shiomi district and a convention center in Tawang. The PM also rolled out projects worth over 1,290 crore rupees across sectors including road connectivity, healthcare and fire safety. Later, addressing a public gathering in Itanagar, the Prime Minister said that the Northeast, which was neglected during opposition rule, became central to development priorities post-2014.
हमने पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट के विकास के लिए बजट कई गुना बढ़ाया। हमने लास्ट माइल कनेक्टिविटी और लास्ट माइल डिलीवरी को अपनी सरकार की पहचान बनाया। और इतना ही नहीं, हमने ये पक्का किया कि सरकार दिल्ली में बैठकर नहीं चलेगी। अफसरों को, मंत्रियों को ज्यादा से ज्यादा नॉर्थ ईस्ट आना होगा, यहां रात्रि मुकाम करना होगा।
Prime Minister Modi noted that India has set a target of producing 500 gigawatts of electricity from non-conventional sources by 2030 through solar, wind and hydro projects. He said that Arunachal Pradesh is working in parallel with the nation in this direction and is fast emerging as India's powerhouse.
भारत ने 2030 तक 500 गीगावाट बिजली, 500 गीगावाट बिजली गैर परंपरागत स्रोतों से पैदा करने का लक्ष्य रखा है। ये लक्ष्य सोलर पावर, विंड एनर्जी, पानी से बिजली बनाकर पूरा किया जाएगा। हमारा अरुणाचल प्रदेश इसमें देश के साथ कदम ताल करते हुए चल रहा है। आज जिन दो पावर प्रोजेक्ट्स का शिलान्यास किया गया है, वो पावर प्रोड्यूसर के रूप में अरुणाचल की स्थिति को और मजबूत करेंगे।
The PM also interacted with traders and entrepreneurs in Itanagar. After the interaction, Prime Minister Modi said that they expressed their appreciation for the GST reforms and the launch of the GST Bachat Utsav. He highlighted how these initiatives will benefit key sectors like fisheries, agriculture, and other local enterprises. Prime Minister Modi also met local traders and retailers in Itanagar who expressed joy on GST reforms and showcased a vibrant range of products. Bureau Report, DD India.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday inaugurated the redeveloped Mata Tripura Sundari Temple complex in Tripura, one of the revered Shakti Peeths in northeast India. And the Prime Minister offered prayers at the sanctum. He paid obeisance to Goddess Tripura Sundari. The Prime Minister also watched the exhibition on the centuries-old temple that presents its rich cultural and spiritual heritage. Let's take a look at the visuals from the temple. And Subimal Bhattacharjee, who is an expert on India's northeast and hails from there, joins us now. Mr. Bhattacharjee, how do you know this 5,100 crore rupees, the development projects, how do they, improve regional integration, economic growth in the northeast?
Thank you, Mark. I think this 5,100 crores looks at two major power projects in Arunachal Pradesh. As you know, Arunachal Pradesh has a lot of water, and so hydel capacity in the state is being augmented. And as your graphics have also shown that the Prime Minister's special attention to the Northeast infrastructure development has been profound since 2014 when he has taken office. Everywhere. Last week he was there for 2 days, going to Assam, Manipur, as well as Mizoram. For the first time, Mizoram was the capital was connected to the rail network of the country, and today is back after a week in Arunachal Pradesh and in Tripura. So the focus on infrastructure to make the region a hub of economic activity, as he says that the growth engine for economy for the country would be led by Northeast. That's absolutely profound. And that also helps in so many other avenues of a wholesome development and growth for the region, where it comes to, fructifying Act East policy, connecting with Southeast Asian countries. If you don't have the right infrastructure in the region, then it becomes difficult to connect with other parts of the region. So that has been a real focus, and there's so much of appreciation from the people in the region. The Prime Minister's presence itself is so much inspiring that that it's made a lot of a difference. He has been to the Northeast after becoming Prime Minister. 70 times he has been in the region. What can you more expect? So this presence makes a lot of difference. The allocations make a lot of difference. The utilization certificate of the allocation and the money provided from the center, that is done. So the money is properly spent. And we've seen so many.
So let's unpack what you're saying a little bit, Mr. Bhattacharjee. The Prime Minister's statement, India, the Northeast is India's emerging powerhouse. How does it reflect our national priorities?
No, it's a very important part of the national priority because we are energy-starved nation because we are growing at a huge pace. We need energy. Not only you can look at the hydel energy, but even on the solar front, there is a lot of prospects in the Northeast that is also being harnessed. And so you have to find energy sources, and if you are able to integrate the energy facilities in the Northeast to the overall ecosystem in the country, I think this is another form of integration. The economic integration is very, very important, along with the whole idea of getting Northeast to move forward along with other parts of the country. That idea of periphery and so-called mainstream that used to afflict very many times the discussions. And I think that's been reduced systematically by the Prime Minister with his presence, as well as ensuring that every ministry is available to be providing money for projects and all. Remember that every line ministry has to provide 10% of his allocation for the Northeast. But besides that, there are so many programs like, the Prime Minister Divine Scheme, the Northeastern Special Infrastructure Development Scheme. So under all these programs, various schemes are being run and are being implemented, and they are done on a time-bound manner. So the overall emancipation of connectivity in the region, of infrastructure build-up in the region, I think is absolutely visible in front. And in the last 11 years.
So, Mr. Bhattacharya, you've talked a lot about energy, connectivity, even healthcare is part of this scheme. But how important is this for the landscape of Arunachal Pradesh? We look at Arunachal Pradesh, it's supposed to be, an ecosystem. You describe ecosystem in the economic sense, but in the environmental sense also, it's supposed to be a fragile ecosystem, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think that's very, very important. The prospects for tourism, the prospects for looking at the environmental aspects while building up all this infrastructure, I think that is absolutely factored by the government, and even the local government and the various communities are also very sensitive to that. So all of the project, DPR and the way forward in which they would be taken forward is taken care of that way. And the prospects of Arunachal Pradesh tourism is also very, very high. I think that is again another aspect that has been building up, like what the Prime Minister inaugurated in Tawang today. I think Tawang is on the tourist map of India from a Buddhist perspective as well as from the scenic perspective. So that again is a big booster. So the prospects of Northeast getting forward economically with this kind of avenues, it cannot be always a very high industry-intensive region. But the service industry, but the tourism, they lay a lot of prospects. And once the infrastructure is there, it automatically adds to the entrepreneurships that are also emerging from the region into small things like, hotels and homestays.
Absolutely. A final question, Mr. Bhattacharya, what are the implications from a security point of view and a diplomatic point of view? Because after all, we look at this place also in the context of India-China relations.
Yeah, I think that always remains very important. But I think people of Arunachal Pradesh are very clear, and the government is also very clear that Arunachal Pradesh is absolutely an integral part of India. So every mechanism to protect it is there. The people are, as the Prime Minister himself has said, that people address each other with Jai Hind. They speak very good Hindi also. So their integration to the overall national cause is very, very high. Hence, I don't think there is a major security issue per se. Now, if Chinese misadventure happens, which has happened in the past and all, that will be dealt with the way it has been dealt in the past. But I don't think, at this point of time, it's a big issue, because overall, even if you see, the government's approach has been to solve many of the otherwise, issues also that afflicted the Northeast in the form of various extremist groups. 13 groups have signed agreement in the last 6 years, and they have been provided opportunities for their own development. So even if you leave Arunachal Pradesh, you go to the other states also, those groups have all now got themselves into the job of building up their own places. And also, overall, the security situation, I think, is not a worry or concern when you are investing in development.
We leave it there. Thank you very much. Subimal Bhattacharya, expert on the Northeast. Thank you for joining us. Now, still to come here on DD India News Hour. Putin offers Trump a one-year START extension, START, as Russia and the US weigh the next steps. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh says that Pakistan-occupied Kashmir will join India on its own without any military action. Nepal's Prime Minister Sushila Karki brings in 4 new ministers in a cabinet expansion. Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. This Navratri celebrations come with a financial twist, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi has declared it a GST savings festival. GST 2.0 reform is expected to lower prices across essentials, consumer durables and cars, many more things. Shoppers are already lining up in malls and showrooms, anticipating festive discounts. Beyond tax relief, the initiative encourages Swadeshi purchases, boosting local industries and reinforcing the vision of a self-reliant India. Here's our report. As the festival of Navratri sweeps across India, celebrations this year come with an added bonus: spiritual renewal with economic relief. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has dubbed the occasion a GST savings festival. The government's rollout of GST 2.0 from Monday brings in a simplified tax structure with just 2 primary slabs, 5% and 18%, down from the previous 4-tier system. People are anticipating a big drop in prices.
Today morning, a lot of people were waiting for the shop to be opened, but in the background we need to change a lot of things, like around 120 articles we need to change the price. So it was only the problem we have to face, like the mass number of products. And the customer feedback we got till now is like everybody is happy with the new price and they're ready to spend.
Consumer durables like washing machines and televisions attract lower taxes, making big-ticket purchases more accessible.
To buy a TV, I think that there will be a good chance of getting it with lower price.
For a middle-class family, reduced slabs could translate into monthly savings of 250 rupees to 5,000 rupees depending on consumption patterns. That's not just a discount, it's a celebration of economic empowerment. But then, it is the festival season to boot.
Apart from the GST, we are providing an additional benefit for the customer. We have different offers. Up to 50% discount we are providing for the customer in the appliances. So it will be benefit in the festive season also.
This festival could well become a festival of cars, since almost all brands and variants of cars have seen a major drop in GST, translating to prices falling between 70,000 rupees and over 2 lakh rupees. Prime Minister Modi's message goes beyond tax relief. He's called on citizens to embrace Swadeshi products, echoing a spirit of self-reliance that powered India's freedom movement. By choosing locally made goods, consumers not only save money but also support domestic manufacturing and small businesses.
तो देशी चीज़ें जो हैं बाहर से इंपोर्टेड से बेटर हैं अब तो, मैं जो हमें सब दिखता है, और रेट भी अच्छा है. तो जब हमारे अपने देश में चीज़ बन रही है और बाहर के रेट से अच्छी मिल रही है तो क्यों नहीं खरीदेंगे हम लोग? डेफिनेटली खरीदेंगे.
The dual push is designed to stimulate demand, boost local industries and reinforce the vision of an Atmanirbhar or self-reliant India. The revised GST regime is expected to inject 2 lakh crore rupees into the economy by increasing household savings and driving consumption-led growth. Clearly, this is a time of devotion with discounts and culture with commerce. Bureau Report, DD India. Support for the Palestinian state grows as France is set to join Britain, Canada, Australia and Portugal in recognizing a Palestinian state. However, Germany has insisted that time is not right to recognize a Palestinian state.
The clamor for a two-state solution to Israel-Palestine conflict is growing louder, with more and more countries expressing support for recognizing Palestine as a state. While UK, Canada and Australia has formally announced their stance to recognize a Palestinian state, Portugal also announced its decision to recognize Palestine as a state.
The Portuguese government reaffirmed on its occasion the right of the State of Israel to exist and its legitimate security needs, as well as the special friendship between the Portuguese and Israeli peoples, once again condemning the atrocious terrorist attack of October 7, Hamas and all terrorist or non-terrorist organizations that deny Israel's right to exist, demanding the immediate release of all hostages, the return of deceased hostages to Israel, and insisting on the need to combat all forms of anti-Semitism.
France President Emmanuel Macron has already pledged to recognize Palestine on September 22. To mark the occasion, Nantes City Hall and the Town Hall of Saint-Denis, located in Saint-Denis in France, raised Palestinian flag. The move by UK, Australia, Canada, France and Portugal comes ahead of the UN General Assembly this week.
This is a moment of opportunity for nations of goodwill to work together, to see the hostages taken in the atrocities of October 7, 2023 returned immediately and with dignity, to bring about an immediate ceasefire and to bring an end to the humanitarian catastrophe which is being inflicted on Gaza.
Palestinian mission to the UK held special ceremony in London and raised Palestinian flag outside Palestinian mission to UK.
In the same capital of the Balfour Declaration, after more than a century of ongoing denial, dispossession and erasure, the UK government has finally taken the long overdue step of recognizing the state of Palestine.
However, Germany and Italy have indicated they are unlikely to follow suit in the near future.
For the German government, the recognition of Palestinian statehood is not currently up for debate. We continue to see such recognition as one of the last steps, not one of the first, on the path to a two-state solution.
However, the push faces stiff resistance from Israel and United States. On September 19, UN General Assembly adopted a resolution on the participation by the State of Palestine during its 18th session by a recorded vote of 145 in favor, 5 against and 6 abstentions. Fuzail Ahmed's report for DD India.
Well, the United Nations marked its 80th anniversary on Monday with calls to confront global crises with unity and resolve, warning that the founding principles of the institution are under severe strain. Opening the commemorative session of the General Assembly, the President, Annalena Baerbock, painted a stark picture of today's conflicts and humanitarian disasters, while the UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres echoed the urgency, warning that the United Nations principles are under assault as never before.
Hope at this 80th anniversary means that this session is not remembered not only for its milestone year, but as a moment when we called on extraordinary resolve equal to the extraordinary challenges we face. We owe this to the people, to the men and women, boys and girls who are not giving up, even in the darkest hours of war, who look still to the streaming blue flag for hope, the flag of our United Nations. Not perfect, not finished, but always better together.
As we meet, the planet burns with fires, floods, and record heat raging through climate chaos. And at the same time, we are moving towards a multipolar world But without strong multilateral institutions, multipolarity has its risks, as Europe learned in the First World War. To meet these challenges, we must not only defend the United Nations, we must strengthen it. And that is the purpose of Agenda 2030, the Pact for the Future and the UN80 initiative, to renew the foundations of international cooperation and to ensure that we can deliver for people everywhere.
The External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, met the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on the sidelines of the 80th UN General Assembly session in New York. This marks the third in-person meeting between Jaishankar and Rubio this year. Their last interaction took place on the 1st of July during the Quad Foreign Ministers meeting in Washington. The Russia-Ukraine conflict is intensifying with deadly strikes on both sides. A Ukrainian drone, this attack hit Crimea, killing 3 and also injuring 16, while the Russian forces pounded Zaporizhia, leaving 3 dead. The fighting rages on as diplomacy struggles to make headway. Rahul Upadhyay reports.
As the Russia-Ukraine conflict deepens, diplomatic efforts drag on with little progress, turning talks into a hollowed ritual sustained by a fragile thread of hope. In a deadly escalation, a Ukrainian drone strike hit a resort area in Crimea, killing 3 and injuring 16. Russia's defense ministry claimed the attack targeted a civilian zone with no military sites, using drones equipped with high explosive payloads. Meanwhile, in Ukraine's southeastern city of Zaporizhia, a Russian aerial assault claimed 3 lives and left 2 others wounded. According to the local governor, at least 10 aerial bombs were dropped on the city of 700,000 residents, damaging 15 apartment buildings, 10 private homes, and several non-residential structures.
It was a truly horrible night. Unfortunately, there were injured and dead too. My neighbor died. The area that was hit is 2 houses away from my house, so the destruction at my place is not as awful as in my neighbor's house.
Russia's Ministry of Defense reported that its forces launched coordinated strikes on Ukrainian positions in multiple directions, including Kharkiv and Donetsk. Ukraine, however, claimed to have repelled these offensives. In a show of resilience, Ukraine's Air Force announced it had downed 132 Russian drones overnight, with 9 confirmed hits across 7 locations. Adding to the tension, Russia said on Monday that its troops has seized control of the Kalinivske, a settlement in Ukraine's Dnipropetrovsk region, marking another shift in the contested landscape. As both sides continue to trade blows across cities and settlements, the human toll deepens and the path to peace remains elusive. Rahul Upadhyay's report for DD India.
India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is on a 2-day visit to Morocco. On Monday, he and his Moroccan counterparts signed an MOU on defence cooperation in Rabat. The 2 leaders agreed on a comprehensive roadmap to enhance collaboration in counter-terrorism, maritime security, cyber defence, peacekeeping, military medicine, training and industry partnerships. Earlier in the day, the Defence Minister interacted with the Indian community in Rabat. Addressing that gathering, Rajnath Singh highlighted India's success in Operation Sindoor against cross-border terrorism. He also reiterated India's firm resolve to combat terrorism in all its forms.
आतंकवादी जैसी हरकत करेंगे और ऐसा जवाब दिया जाए। हम अच्छे रिश्ते बनाकर रखना चाहते हैं, लेकिन पड़ोसी को भी तो चाहिए अच्छे रिश्ते बनाकर रखें। नहीं रखेगा उसको सही रास्ते पर लाना भी तो हमारी ही जिम्मेदारी है, न कहो किसी है। और हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी ने भी कहा है कि यह तो अभी पास है, पास। अभी ऑपरेशन सिंदूर को अस्थगित किया और आगे यदि कोई वारदात होगी तो सिद्ध न हो, फिर आगे होगी। फिर से शुरू हो जाए।
What's still to come here on DD India News Hour? We'll get you expert opinion on the GST reforms driving major discounts during the festive season. Vivek Johri, former chairman CBIC and senior advisor KPMG, and Prashant Kumar Goyal, who's Joint Secretary of the Department of Financial Services in the Ministry of Finance, will be joining us.
the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. Here's a recap of our main news. Prime Minister Modi unveils 5,100 crore rupees projects in Arunachal Pradesh, declares the Northeast as India's emerging powerhouse. Navratri now a GST savings festival. Prime Minister Modi's tax reform spurs discounts, Swadeshi push and economic cheer. France joins the UK, Canada, Australia and Portugal in backing a Palestinian state. Israel calls it a huge reward to terror. Young citizens in Peru and the Philippines protest against their respective governments, taking a cue from Nepal. And joining us are Vivek Johri, former chairman of the Central Board of CBIC of the government and also now senior advisor at KPMG, and Prashant Kumar Goyal is a joint secretary at the Department of Financial Services, Ministry of Finance. Thank you very much for being with us. Mr. Johri, does simplified tax structure actually mean better compliance, greater collections?
Yes, of course. In practice,
yes,
that has been our lived experience. And if you talk to any tax experts, they will tell you that a reduction in the dispersion of rates, which is a reduction in the number of rates in any tax system, definitely contributes positively to compliance because classification disputes are mitigated, minimized, and the tax system becomes simpler to operate. So it definitely results in better compliance. That has been our experience in India as well.
Okay. Mr. Goyal, do you expect fewer disputes also to take place now and also for the tax base to be expanded?
Definitely. When the tax rate is lower, there is no reason for any kind of disputes, and the number of tax slabs have been reduced. So now that there is no question of multiple slabs, like which commodity fits into which slab. So it is 5% and 18%. So it has become much more simple. Increasing compliance and reducing the compliance burden.
Mr. Johri, what about, input tax credit, and to what extent, has it been streamlined, would you say? Because at the end of the day, the taxpayer also wants to, or at least the small and medium enterprises want to get some benefit.
See, as far as input tax credit is concerned, as long as the rate of tax applicable to inputs and finished products is the same, there is no inversion in the tax rates, and therefore there's smooth flow of input tax credit in the system. What has happened with the current tax rejig that has been done by reducing the number of rates to 2, and coupled with that the broadbanding of some finished products at the 5% rate, what it implies is that in some cases you will have inverted duty structure. In an inverted duty structure, the mechanism for allowing an offset of input taxes is through the refund route. And what the government has also announced along with this rate rejig is, a complete revamp of the refund system that is currently in operation. So that refunds, in the case of input tax credit, where there is an inverted duty rate, become almost automatic. except very few that get caught in the risk management system. So I think there is a remedy that has been provided. Of course, as long as you continue to have more than one rate, which is a very ideal VAT system, there will always be inversions which you cannot avoid. But as long as you have a refund mechanism that takes care of those inversions, I think it's not a big burden on the taxpayer.
Indeed.
There are issues of inversion, of course, that continue with regard to services, because most of the services, as you know, are at the 18% rate.
Right.
And in certain parts of the value chain, particularly in retail businesses, for example, the contribution of input services is quite high, because rentals are high. There are banking services which they make use of, insurance services. And in some of those cases also, there could be accumulation of input tax credit. In the current system, refund of accumulation on account of input services is not permitted. It's only on account of inversion due to goods. And that may be a challenge for some of the industry segments, but that is how it is today.
Indeed. Mr. Goyal, from the consumption point of view, how much of a boost are we likely to see in demand for demand-driven growth that the government has been talking about?
See, when that rates have been reduced from 18% to 5%, 28% to, in many cases, 18% or even to 5%. So consumers are going to save at least 10% or maybe 15, 20% of the overall value of the product which they were actually paying. So definitely the prices will go down, and definitely today they have gone down, and consumers will be more motivated to purchase the goods which they need. So it will be giving a big boost to the consumption, which will be pushing our economy even higher.
Mr. Jory, some estimates say that, we are expecting an infusion of about 2 lakh crore rupees into the economy because of this GST reforms. And, are we likely to see then many jobs being created? And would they be, would this benefit, this boost to the economy be long term as well?
Yes, I think so, for two reasons. One, because, in the immediate aftermath of the cut, starting today, what is expected is a big boost in consumption. And in fact, there are some estimates that have talked about anywhere between 60 to 90 or so, near about basis points of increase in the GDP rate of growth also. Now, that is because of two reasons. One, consumption, which, as the other panelists just explained, is going to be because of the demand boost in consumption. The other, which I think is very important, is that now you're going to have a stable rate structure, because most of the anomalies in the rate structure for goods have now been sorted out in this rate rejig, with a very sort of detailed and microscopic work on, what goods should attract what tax, removal of inversions, broadbanding of rates for certain industry segments and all that. So this rate structure is going to provide stability, and stability is definitely a magnet for more investments in the system. So I think in the medium to long term, what this will also do is to bring in more investments in manufacturing and industry, and that will be another multiplier effect or a spin-off effect of the reduction in the number of rates. So both consumption and investment driven. The third thing, which I would like to mention, is on the export side. Now, as you recall, because there have been some headwinds on the export side because of tariffs imposed by the US, and the stress that our exporters are facing. Now, what this rate rejig has also done is to provide succor and relief to some of those sectors, which are mainly sort of labor intensive, and which contribute quite substantially to exports, particularly to the US market. For example, leather, ready-made garments, textiles, made-up articles of textiles. So there was an inversion in the textile sector which has been removed. Likewise for the leather sector also, there's a lower rate of tax that is applicable domestically. But many inputs that go into manufacture of leather products have seen a reduction in rates. So I think all this is going to provide a fillip to domestic consumption in sector for these goods, as well as a push for more exports. Also, because one last point on exports, the export refund regime, it has also been announced in this reform package, has been revamped, and these refunds will now accrue almost automatically to exporters, except, as I said, in the case of those which get hit by risk management parameters. So refunds of GST to exporters will be much quicker, and that itself will provide them more working capital and ease their, improve their competitiveness in global markets.
Mr. Goyal, how formalized has the Indian economy become? A post, let's say, Digital India was one kind of reform, and now, of course, GST reforms. How are all these combined to actually formalize the Indian economy?
Formalization of Indian economy is happening by a big boost by UPI, by which payments have become easier, and now everybody is making payments through UPI and accepting payments through UPI, and plus GST, which has become so simple, and the rates have gone so down that all the business owners, shop owners, or small or big traders, they now take the GST, and it is also reflected in the year-on-year, month-on-month increase in the GST collections. Although the government is reducing the rates in steps over last few years, but we are seeing that the GST collections in the economy are going up. So it shows that the economy is getting formalized and people are coming into TaxNet. They are happy to receive payment, make the payments online, and taking the benefit of the whatever tax concession or benefits are being given by the government.
We leave it there. Thank you very much, Mr. Prashant Kumar Goyal, Joint Secretary, Department of Financial Services, Ministry of Finance, and Mr. Vivek Johri, former Chairman of the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, and also Senior Advisor, KPMG. Thank you, gentlemen, for being with us.
Thank you.
Now, the next generation GST reforms came into effect from today across India, and the automobile sector is one of the largest beneficiaries of this sharp cut in the rate slabs. Consumers have been queuing up at car showrooms in Delhi to book their cars this festive season. Here's a report by Dibyendu Mondal.
As the next gen GST reform kicks in across the country from today itself, we are at the heart of the national capital, Connaught Place. This is a sprawling, busy market area in the heart of the national capital. And of course, one of the biggest beneficiaries of the GST rate cut is the automobile industry. And we are at the Maruti showroom here in Connaught Place, which will get the largest benefit. This sector, in fact, gets one of the biggest benefit of the GST rate cut. Number of people that are coming here to inquire, and many were perhaps waiting for this announcement to be done and the implementation to happen on the 22nd. You can see the lineup of cars here at the showroom. The demand has been rising. The inquiries had been rising over the last couple of weeks since the announcement. They could be expecting to see much more bookings, and the automobile sector gets one of the biggest benefit of the GST rate cut. This is Dibyendu Mondal with camera person Vimlesh from Connaught Place in New Delhi for DD India.
Well, let's take a look at other stories making the news. India's Minister for Environment, Forests and Climate Change, Bhupendra Yadav, addressed the 51st Foundation Day of the Central Pollution Control Board in New Delhi on Monday. During his address, the minister, he highlighted the critical role of the CPCB in the development of green and clean India. The Delhi Chief Minister, Rekha Gupta, laid the foundation stone of a three-story DTC bus depot in Harinagar. The Chief Minister, Rekha Gupta, she said that the number of electric buses in the national capital will be increased to 6,000 by the next year, double the current tally of 3,000. The Ministry of Tribal Affairs today inaugurated the Adi Karma Yogi student chapters at IIT, IIM, AIMS, NITs, these are across the universities. and other top-class universities. In a statement, the ministry said that the Adi Karma Yogi student chapters will empower tribal youth. Still to come here on DD India News Hour, Navratri in Gujarat. South Africa's Test skipper Themba Bavuma has been ruled out of the Test series against Pakistan. And the sprint legend Usain Bolt is going to be playing an exhibition football match in India. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. Pakistan police and security sources have said that aerial bombing in a remote border region killed at least 23 civilians on Monday in an area where militancy has been rising. The opposition MPs accused the military of carrying out the night raid as part of a counter-terrorism operation, but no official statement has been released by the government or the armed forces. Speaking in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Assembly on Monday afternoon, the provincial MP Sohail Khan Afridi, he blamed the military. A senior police officer stationed in the town of Thira said that 7 women and 4 children were among the 23 dead, without saying who carried out this assault. After the widespread Gen Z protests in Nepal, the world is now witnessing civil protests in various parts of the globe, with people expressing their dissatisfaction with government administration. DD India's Adamya Mishra reports.
In Peru's capital city of Lima, hundreds of Gen Z protesters clashed with the police on Sunday as they stood up against a controversial pension reform plan. There was also a violent confrontation between the two parties.
The police has gassed us, repressed us, and cornered us to gas everyone without considering there are children, people who are not even protesting, just walking freely downtown. For them, violence is the only answer.
In Philippines' capital Manila, tensions escalated on Saturday as a face-off was witnessed between the police officials and rallying protesters. Allegations of mismanagement of government's flood control projects are believed to be the cause of public dissatisfaction. Moving forward with Greece, where thousands of people rallied in the capital city of Athens on Sunday in support of the victims of Tempe train disaster, accusing authorities of concealing the truth about the crash. Protesters gathered outside the parliament, wrote messages of solidarity, and left flowers at a temporary memorial for the crash victims.
I have been trying for 2.5 years now to find out what he died of, and they won't let me. It is my right to understand what my child has died from. That's why I am here, in front of the parliament for 7 days now on hunger strike, and no one has come to give me the permit.
Amid uncertainties caused by geopolitical unrests triggering economic disruptions, the anxieties of youths are finding expressions on the streets. The unhappiness, anger, and discontent of the young minds have reached levels which in the recent past resulted in even toppling of governments. Adamya Mishra's report for DD India.
The strongest storm of the year so far has descended on the northern Philippines with destructive winds and torrential rain on Monday, prompting evacuations of thousands of people and preparations in nearby Hong Kong, Taiwan and mainland China. In Tuba, in Benguet province, the rescue personnel there had worked to clear mud and debris after a landslide blocked a major highway. The Philippines President, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., has ordered the country's disaster response agency to go on full alert, directing all government departments to mobilize resources for rescue and relief operations. Authorities have kept the Babuyan Islands, located near the Luzon, north of Luzon area, under a high level of storm warning signal, urging residents there to stay away from coastal areas and the riverbanks amid threats of storm surges and flooding. The dengue outbreak has reached an alarming level in Bangladesh, with health authorities there confirming 12 deaths in a single day, the highest toll reported for this season. Now, health authorities had reported 740 new hospital admissions during the last 24 hours, bringing the total number of confirmed cases this year to 48,831. Hospitals in Dhaka and other major cities are struggling to cope with the influx of patients as thousands remain admitted with dengue fever, highlighting the urgent need to control the spread of the disease. Gujarat and Navratri go hand in hand. Its Garba dance is now a UNESCO heritage item, and with music, color and tradition, the festival is one of the world's biggest cultural events. But it's more than spiritual, it's a major driver of business and the local economy. Meghna Dev reports.
From Ahmedabad to Vadodara, Rajkot to Surat, preparations for Garba and Dandiya are at their peak. Streets are glowing with colorful traditional outfits and markets are witnessing a sharp rise in demand for tailoring, jewelry, bangles and the traditional ghagra choli. Every shop is packed with buyers and shopkeepers say the Navratri season is their biggest business opportunity of the year. Many part-timers also encash their creativity in this season.
During Navratri, Gujarat has the highest level of excitement. People come from far and wide bringing their own collections. Preparations begin months in advance and we proudly showcase our collections.
As business owners, Navratri is a huge opportunity for us. People want a different collection for each of the 9 days, which creates tremendous business opportunities. Our sale rise significantly during this time and customers love it.
This season, fashion trends among the youth are also changing. Fusion styles that blend traditional attire with a Western touch are drawing huge popularity. Small and medium businesses too are making high profits, with women driving the majority share of this seasonal market. Meanwhile, government agencies, the police and local administration have begun special security and safety arrangements. CCTV surveillance, traffic management and emergency services are being deployed to ensure smooth and peaceful festivities. Devotees worship Goddess Durga, seeking power, prosperity and wisdom. Garba and Dandiya dances remain central to the celebrations, creating opportunities for traditional musicians, artists and performers. Adding to the festive vibe, temporary skin tattoos have also become a yearly fashion trend during the festival of Navratri. Overall, the demand for stalls, costumes, decoration and accessories has surged, bringing special benefits to local shopkeepers, women entrepreneurs and artisans alike.
So truly, when you come here for the 9 days of Navratri, Gujarat clearly appears to be as vibrant as it is known as Vibrant Gujarat. With camera person Lakshman Rajput, this is Meghna Dev for DD India from Ahmedabad, Gujarat.
Well, time now for the sports news. Now, South Africa's Test captain Themba Bavuma has been ruled out of the team's first assignment in their World Test Championship title defence against Pakistan. Bavuma picked up a calf injury during a recent white ball tour of England and is expected to be sidelined for 6 to 8 weeks. In his absence, Aidan Markram will be leading the test side. Keshav Maharaj, recovering from a groin injury sustained in England, will only be available for the second test. In another big development, the wicketkeeper batter Quinton de Kock has reversed his retirement from ODIs and has been named in both the ODI and T20I international squads for Pakistan's tour. De Kock's last international appearance, in fact, was in the T20 World Cup final at Barbados in June of 2024. David Miller will captain the T20 international side, while Matthew Bretsky will lead the ODI squad. Ahead of the Pakistan tests, South Africa will play a T20I or T20 international series in, a match in Namibia. This is to inaugurate the new stadium in Windhoek. Well, the 8-time Olympic gold medalist and global sporting icon Usain Bolt is going to be trading his running spikes for football boots in a one-of-a-kind match in Mumbai on October 1. Taking center stage, the fastest man in the world will light up the pitch in an exclusive football showcase alongside top teams and players. This event will feature footballers, movie personalities, among other prominent figures. Bolt will represent both Bengaluru FC and Mumbai City FC, playing one half each, bringing fans from both camps together in a grand celebration of the sport. Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India News Hour. Let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those of you on the go, get the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. Available in both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code and download it now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Mark Lynn. From all of us here in Delhi, thank you very much for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.